Very good morning, students. Let's continue our chapter, Working of the Institution. And today we will discuss about political executive. Who are the political executive? Okay. So, when we have first started this chapter, we read about a person signed the document for that is Mandal Commission, right? The decision was taken, and the Prime Minister played an important role in taking that decision. But Prime Minister alone was not responsible for that decision. In order to take that decision, he needed support from the Lok Sabha. Okay, so because whenever there was a meeting in a decision making, Prime Minister was involved, and without the support of the ministers, Prime Minister alone cannot take any decision, right? So that is why Prime Minister is also an executive. He is executing his job in the parliament. So Prime Minister is an executive. That is the reason he is a political executive. The government and the functionaries, the ministers who takes a day-to-day decision, they have to take decisions, right, on behalf of the common people. They are called, all whoever are there who perform functions collectively, they are known as the executives. Okay, now there are two types of executive. One is political executive and another one is permanent executive. Political executive are those members to whom we give our vote. The people who are elected for a specific period, they are called the political executives. Okay, and the political leaders who take the big decision falls in this category. The political leaders, they are also called political executives. Why they are political executives? Because they have been elected by the common people for a fixed period, for a term, right? For 5 years, for 6 years, for 3 years. And that is why they are called political executive. That is the first category. And the second category is people are appointed on a long-term basis. For a long-term basis, they are called the permanent executive or the civil servants. Okay, so the persons who are working in civil services like IPS, IAS officer, right? All these are the permanent executives, and they are appointed for a very, very long period. Okay, so that is the difference between political executive and the permanent executive. Now, permanent executive, in order to be a permanent executive, one has to pass all the examinations, right? You know about competitive exams, right? IAS exam, WBCS exam, all these exams. So permanent executives are much more qualified than the political executive. But why the political executives have more power than the permanent executive? What is the reason? Sometimes in some cases, political executive do not have the idea which the permanent executive have. For example, in finance, the finance minister does not have that much of knowledge of the finance, but the permanent executive, because he has passed all those examinations and he reached that position by passing the examination, right? So the permanent executive have all the knowledge regarding finances, but the finance minister, he doesn't have that knowledge, though the finance minister has a very much power. He is powerful than the permanent executive. Why? Because political executives are powerful because they are in a position where they can decide on important matters on behalf of the common people. We, as a common people, we gave them power to decide on behalf of us, and something happens because of their decision. Those political executives are answerable to the common people and not the permanent executive. Permanent executive are not answerable to the common people, but the political executives are answerable to the common people. But whenever they take some important decisions, expert will be there, And who are the experts? Experts are the permanent executives, because the permanent executive have all the knowledge. So whenever some decisions are taken by the political executive, though they do not have any knowledge regarding that, but experts are there to help them, right? The permanent executives are there to help them, and with the help of all the experts and all the permanent executives, political executives takes a decision, an important decision. And if something happens, the political executives are answerable to the common people, and they are making decision on behalf of the common people. That is the reason political executives are powerful than the permanent executive. Okay, now Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Prime Minister is the most important political institution in the country, right? Prime Minister is also an executive, right? Prime Minister is appointed by the President. Prime Minister's election is indirect. Okay, and in order to be a Prime Minister, he should be the leader of the Lok Sabha. The member of the Lok Sabha has to give a majority to a person to whom they wanted to become a Prime Minister. When the majority gives their vote, at that time President will appoint the Prime Minister. Okay, sometimes there wouldn't be any single party. The parties have to make a coalition. Coalition means mixture of party. Like the two parties form a mixture, and then one person will be elected as the Prime Minister, nominated as the Prime Minister. And if that person gets the majority from the people, from the member of the Lok Sabha, President appoints him as the Prime Minister. Okay, and the Prime Minister does not have a fixed tenure. Okay, because if the Lok Sabha member of the Lok Sabha says we do not have confidence on this Prime Minister, at that time Prime Minister has to resign. Okay, Prime Minister is basically known as the leader of the Lok Sabha. Okay, and after the appointment of the Prime Minister, the President appoints other ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister, and they form the Council of Ministers, some important members. They form a Council of Ministers, and this Council of Ministers, the member of the Council of Ministers are appointed by the President with the advice of Prime Minister. Prime Minister will say, I want this person in the as a member of the Cabinet Minister, Council of Ministers. At that time, the President will appoint all those ministers. Okay. Then a Council of Ministers is the official name for the body that includes all the ministers. It usually has 60 to 80 ministers of different ranks. So in the Council of Ministers there are 60 to 80 ministers, okay, of different rank. And this Council of Ministers is very, very important. They are close to Prime Minister, because these 60 to 80 members has been nominated by the Prime Minister. Because of the nomination of the Prime Minister, President appoint this minister as a Council of Ministers. Now Cabinet Minister is also there. Cabinet Minister is that it comprises 20 ministers. In a cabinet, cabinet minister there are 20 ministers, and from that Council of Ministers where they have 60 to 80 members, from those 60 to 80 members, Prime Minister appoints 20 members as a cabinet. Okay, so we can say that cabinet is the inner body of the Council of Ministers. Understood? Usually the cabinet minister meet to take decision in the name of Council of Ministers. So whenever some important decision has to be taken, the cabinet meeting will be there. Okay, on behalf of the Council of Ministers, the 20 members plus Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the leader of the Council of Ministers. Okay, and the cabinet meet was there in order to decide something. Minister of State with independent charge are usually in charge of smaller minister. They participate in the cabinet meeting only when specially invited. So the Minister of State, they are, if they wanted to join the cabinet, at that time there should be an invitation from the Prime Minister or the cabinet minister. If they invite the state minister, at that time only the state minister will join the meeting as a cabinet member. And Minister of states are attached to and required to assist cabinet minister. Cabinet minister is basically for the center. Okay. Since it is not practical for all the ministers to meet regularly and discuss everything, the decisions are taken in the cabinet meeting. That is why parliamentary democracy is in most countries is often known as the cabinet form of government. So every minister, they do not have the time to meet every day, right? They cannot meet every day. They cannot sit in a one place to decide something. That is the reason whenever every decision, important decision has to be taken, a cabinet meet will be there, because those cabinet members are from the council of members, the inner party. Cabinet members are also the member of the council of ministers, right? From those 60 to 80 members, 20 members will be allotted as a cabinet. That is the reason parliamentary form of democracy is also known as cabinet form of government, because every decision, important decision, in every important decision making, cabinet ministers are responsible. Okay. So this much for today. We will discuss power of the prime minister in our next class. I hope all of you have understood. Prime ministers will be appointed by the president, and there should be a majority in the Lok Sabha in order to be a prime minister. Then on the advice of prime minister, president appoints council of minister. Council of minister comprises 60 to 80 members, and from those 60 to 80 members, another 20 members will be elected as the cabinet members. And whenever important decisions are taken, those cabinet members are responsible. There will be a cabinet meet, and the state minister, they can join the cabinet meet if they get any invitation from the cabinet ministers. Okay.